Shalom, shalom. This is part 2 of the lesson. Salaki, I was interrupted and an emergency call came through. So, even when you set notifications, man, I mean, when this people keep calling nonstop, eventually, it's going to kind of like go, you're just going to have to receive it. So, Salaki, on that, let's just keep going with the lesson. This is going to be part 2 of what we're getting into. All right, we're getting into Babylonians, a.k.a. United States citizens. Basically, the reality is sitting in that the United States is circling the drain. So what's going on? You got a lot of doom spending, and you have people gambling their assets, their savings, their future, basically, on games. All right. And in this article, we're going to go into ancient Rome, ancient Greco-Roman Empire, and the same mentality, the gambling mindset that was going on in Rome. While Rome was collapsing, you will realize that the Romans basically diverted their attention from the pain and suffering that they were going through, and they put all of their time into gambling, trying to, get rich, quick schemes and crime. All right. So let's go. So this is Casino Life magazine. All right. Casino Life magazine, gladiators, chariots, and gambling in ancient Rome. All right. It says, did you know that ancient Romans had a bit of an obsession with gambling? It says, despite different laws passed in the Roman Empire, lots of gamblers took to the tables hoping for their future. Wow, hoping for their future. Ain't that what the people doing here? That's what they're doing now in America. It said, but some wanted more than luck. They tried every trick and cheat under the sun. Nowadays, it is not possible in games like, whatever that is, and many others. It says, was gambling legal? It says, Romans of the ancient age had a complicated relationship with gambling. While public leaders often condemned it, wagering on games was still popular at festivities and other events. There were laws in place to discourage excessive betting. All right. It says, yet that didn't stop Rome from embracing this beloved pastime until politics stepped in. In ancient Rome, gambling laws were quite lenient. Those who couldn't pay off debts incurred during wagering could have their losses forgiven if they had the approval of a guardian or elder, such as paterfamilias. Even better, there was no legal age restriction, so even young people and slaves could play. All right, just like right now, you can gamble. I don't know if it's an age of restriction. It might be, but I do know everybody can gamble, including the slaves, right? So-called Negroes, Hispanics, and natives, the so-called minorities. You also get to gamble, just like in ancient Rome. It says ancient Roman Empire gambling games. So you had the lottery. Some of these, I don't know if I'm going to read all of them. I mean, I might just. All right, so first, this is how the Romans basically gamble their future away, all right, as they realized that Rome was about to collapse. Because prior to that, you couldn't tell a Roman that Rome was going to collapse. But then towards the end, the Romans, they didn't want to verbally acknowledge it, but the way that they move with their money, gambling away their money, it was a sign, that the Romans had acknowledged that it was over. So it says, first you had the lottery. It says, in ancient Rome, lottery draws were not only a great source of entertainment for Emperor Augustus' lavish parties, they also served an important purpose. The Romans used the proceeds from their lotteries to fund military campaign and construction projects that helped shape the world we know today. Who knew playing games could have such a far-reaching impact? Now, second, you had the coin toss, all right? Coin toss. The Roman Empire was a mysterious and marvelous place with many intriguing customs. One of their more interesting games was Capita on Navim, the equivalent to our modern heads or tail, all right? So, nothing new under the sun, all right? Casting lots, right? It says people of all social classes will come together for a good-natured game. Instead of featuring animals like today's coins do, these ancient cestati bore images that celebrated one particular passion. Ships at sea. It truly shows just how important nautical exploration once was in ancient Rome. All right, so you had, of course, number three, you had the Roman dice. Actually, when I don't know, that should be an image. They don't have it. But if you type in Roman dice, you will see is actually it's similar to modern day dice. All right, the whole, like, when you look at that dice, like we used to play dice, it actually goes back to ancient Rome. I mean, it's identical. Okay, playing dice is an ancient Greco-Roman pastime, gambling pastime. Verse 3, it says, if you were a gambler in ancient Rome, depending on your social standing and wealth, the dice you rolled might have been crafted from all manner of materials. For those higher up the ladder, their Alea dice could be made with luxurious ivory or precious metal like silver, while everyone else would settle for more mundane options such as wood or bone. All right, so that's on that. You had games for children, and of course the Coliseum games. All right, the football games, NBA games of today. NFL, NHL. The hockey league. So it says Coliseum games. It says ever since the days of ancient Rome, gambling in sports has been a beloved pastime, starting with the contest showcasing strength and agility to the street fights that were later taken into arenas by Roman citizens. It's clear there was an appreciation for daring competitions among spectators. The Coliseum, all right, which you actually have stadiums called a Coliseum. It says the Colosseum has stood for nearly 5 centuries and hosted thousands of guests from across the Roman Empire, from commoners to nobles. All right, everyone found enjoyment watching some of Rome's most legendary spectacles, like Venatio, where animals fought each other or humans. There were also ludi meridians, midday games, which included executions, while Munus Lustium Archi Legitimum was a proper gladiator show with gambling on every stage of the game, sure to keep you entertained no matter what. All right. While gambling dice could be found in nearly every Roman pocket, the gladiators' battles of strength and courage at the Colosseum had everyone's full attention, just like today. The number one sport that brings more attention and more views is by far, bar none, especially in the United States, is bar none, the NFL. All right, these are the modern day gladiators that go out there and break legs and break bones. All right, for your pleasure as you gamble. As you buy tickets that you cannot afford, and you gamble away your future, your assets, and your savings. Why? Because the reality is setting in that the ride is almost over. So, just doing some doom spending, man. That's all. All right. It says, contrary to popular belief, these epic fights were far from a show staged by powerful rulers. They feature valiant slaves desperate for a chance at better lives. Talk about valiant slaves desperate. It just recently they had something that was called, after the preseason, they had something that was called roster cuts. I mean, and you can see those gladiators on edge, right? I think it's like a 93-man roster that needs to get cut to 53. So you're talking about a large amount of dudes that are fighting. They're not fighting to the death, but they're out there really trying to make the team, right? So their lives can change. If not, they just go back to being a cashier at Home Depot, man. All right. It says they feature valiant slaves desperate for a chance at better lives through victory on the arena floor. All right. So this is the history of gambling. The United States is the reincarnation of ancient Rome. Again, this is all biblical. There's nothing new under the sun. So Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, it says history, right? This is in the NLT, all right? Not the King James, the NLT. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, it says history merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. Sometimes people say, here is something new. but actually it is old. Nothing is ever truly new. All right, and that's just factual. Now let's go to Revelation 13:3, and it says, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast." All right, so the beast and that head is talking about ancient Rome. All right, and it was wounded. Why? Because Rome fell, and then eventually it was taken over. But then that mindset, the system of having sports and the Senate, the politics, everything came back. All right, the spirit of Edom Esau didn't die; it came back. It was reincarnated in the form of the Club of Rome and the United League of Nations. Ultimately, the United States being involved, and so on and so forth. Right. Verse 12, it says, "And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." So that's why sometimes, like when you see people, being proud in America, this is the Roman way. The Roman way is pride. The men and the women, male and female, that's the Roman way. All right. So now let's go forward, because I believe I read that in the NLT as well. This is Revelation 13:3. It says, "And I saw that one of the heads of the beast seemed wounded beyond recovery, but the fatal wound was healed. The whole world marveled at this miracle and gave allegiance to the beast." All right, so people marvel at the American way, the Edomite way. All right, now let's go to verse 12. "He exercised all the authority of the first beast, and he required all the earth and its people to worship the first beast, whose fatal wound was healed." All right, so yeah, man, the reincarnation. Now let's go to Ezekiel chapter 24, verse 6, because the Lord is taking this place apart. All right, piece by piece, without a doubt. Now this is Ezekiel 24:6 in the NIV. All right, it says, "For this is what the sovereign Lord, Yehovah Shemel Shah, says: Woe to the city of bloodshed." All right, back then it was talking about Jerusalem and the wicked Israelites. All right, but when you move forward, because prophecy speaks about not only the past, the present, and the future, but when you go into 2024, that city of bloodshed is talking about Babylon the Great. It's talking about the United States, all right? And we all know the history of the United States. It says, "Woe to the city of bloodshed, to the pot now encrusted, whose deposit would not go away," right? That scum, all right? The doo-doo, basically. Whose deposit would not go away. Take the meat out piece by piece in whatever order it comes. See that? So the reason why, we have to be patient is because the Most High is taking this place down piece by order. All right? There's order in prophecy. That's why you can't skip certain prophecies. You know what I'm saying? Certain things must happen before other things happen. All right? That's why it says take the meat out piece by piece in whatever order it comes. All right, plain and simple. Now let's close out. This is beautiful, man. This is to see our enemies, our oppressors, gamble away their future. Oh man, this is wonderful, man. Freedom, man, is right around the corner. Now let's close out with Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 25 verse 7. It says, There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that has joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. All right. So one of the main reasons why, you want to live to see, and it's great to see the fall of our enemy piece by piece, is also because you cannot enjoy your children. All right. You have brothers that do have children. They cannot enjoy their children. They got, some of them got baby mama terrorists. Some of them, their children are part of the system. So it's tough, man. And the ones of us that don't have children, we don't want children, because we know it's gonna be pain, man. It's gonna be pain, and it's just so yeah. You want to see your enemies fall at all cost. at all costs, man. And that's kind of where we at, man. It's at all costs. All right, so basically that's part 2 of the drums of liberation, dealing with gambling. I don't know exactly what title I'm gonna put in, but it should be up soon. So with that, I'm gonna say Kal Halam La Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushua Ba'Shem, V'Hakodash, giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom and salutation to all you sincere Akim across the 4 winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. Because